Hello, everybody. This is Leah Fresh Astrology, and I am joined here today with Carolyn in the white shirt. Carolyn, you want to, and Mimi in the dark
Hello.
shirt. Yep. So these are my co-founders, friends, and colleagues at our company, Camille. It's a coaching, events, and course online course company. And we're talking a lot to our people about this idea of purpose, like why am I here and now? And in astrology, if you follow me on astrology, you know that the astrology of 2020 is all about purpose. And it's so much about purpose, and there's so much Pluto and Saturn emphasis on this that there's even kind of a backlash against purpose. I'm finding out because, I'm in the coaching community, so there's a lot of chatter about this. And I find that the backlash is not actually against what we're talking about in terms of purpose. The backlash is against misconceptions around the word purpose. So we're going to do kind of an interesting thing here today. We have some other videos we want you to watch too, where we talk more about this, and I look at Carolyn's chart and Mimi's chart. This chart that we're looking at right now is Queen Elizabeth I. So she's actually dead, but she was Queen of England in the 1500s. And a very good queen, most people would argue. She brought in a golden era and an age of prosperity, proliferation of the arts, peace, religious independence to England, a lot of stability. So we're going to look at her chart with the idea of trying to dissect out what is her purpose and what wasn't purpose. So I'll just start by saying the fact that she was born into a royal family was not her purpose. That was her circumstance. She had nothing to do with that. It wasn't her soul's mission to necessarily be in a royal family. Her purpose is more like what drives her spirit, what drives her soul forward. So it's not necessarily about the job of being queen, but it's what makes her heart sing. And so when you look at her chart, we're looking for purpose. I would look for the North Node. And her North Node is over here on this side of the chart. You can read the North Node in both the 7th and 8th houses. And her South, that would make her South Node down here. But let's just look at her North Node. So what I would say, just a very skim the surface of her chart observation of mine, is that her purpose is toward financial stability. She wants this stability a lot. And so she's going to be driven toward that. And so not only will she seek it for herself, but for her family, for her country in this case, because she had so much reach with her, she had a very powerful role. Not only did she bring herself stability throughout her lifetime, but she brought stability to England. So to bring stability was really her purpose. And when you bring stability into your own life and a country, you bring a chance to breathe easy. You're not at war. You're not fighting for survival. Therefore, you can do things like read books or write or go to the theater. Like the arts flourished under her reign. So just by being who she was and being driven toward, finding stability, she brought it and manifested that for her country. And then because she did that, there were some serious side benefits, including the proliferation of the arts. So that's just a very surface read of her chart. There's much more here, but we at Camille have something called the Purpose Shift Bullet Journal. It's a free downloadable set of journaling prompts that help you start to move toward and play around with this idea of what is my purpose? What is your purpose? And one of the exercises is about doing your purpose, but we think it's really more about being your purpose, because some of the backlash around purpose has to do with, is it an achievement or a goal you're supposed to get? And we would say no, it's just by being your authentic self. So you guys, if you
So, what I understand you saying is that Queen Elizabeth would have been queen sort of regardless. That's not her purpose, but she could have squandered that instinct or that desire for to create this financial stability for her country, and then she would have been off purpose. Her real purpose was um, to do those things that allowed the country to prosper, by exploring the world and doing all sorts of other really phenomenal things. Did I get that right? Like she'd been
Yeah,
queen regardless. That wasn't her
right,
purpose.
right.
Just like,
If she had followed her fears, which is kind of across the chart where the sort of what we're calling today the anti-purpose, if she had gotten stuck in the weeds of the details about counting money and being concerned about like little tiny details at home, she would have not lived out her purpose as beautifully, and it would not have manifested as well for her country, because she was so good at looking at the big picture of finance. How do you get the big stability, not the tiny, I want stability in the next hour or tomorrow?
right,
She was able to look at the big picture somehow because it was just, that was her purpose. She
yeah.
was driven to look at it that way, and she did a very good job of it.
So I kind of translate that, and it kind of takes the pressure off in a lot of ways, because there are things about my life and my life circumstances that seem a little beyond my control. And if you were to say to me, like, you know, being queen is your purpose. Well, I don't really have a mechanism to get myself there, right? So there, or like the fact that I was born where I was, to the family that I was. I mean, I feel lucky in all of those things, but those were also beyond my control. So to know that that's not my purpose is something sort of more specific to me, and within those confines, I can
Mhm.
live out my purpose.
Yes.
Just I think that's where people can get confused about purpose and have a little backlash. So
Mhm.
that's really interesting. And I know for myself, one of the reasons we created the bullet journal was because we all rely so heavily on tools.
Yeah.
Tools can also seem like overwhelming and such a heavy word, but in this case, we gave a real introductory, fun, yet really powerful way to start playing with this concept. It's free. It's 7 days of creative journaling and prompts for you to follow, and get a little closer to what your purpose is. And then, of course, if you want to do deeper work, we're there for that as well. But certainly the bullet journal, which will be linked here, correct?
Yes, in the description below, we'll have the link, and
Yeah.
the link takes you to you go to a landing page where you just put in your email address, and then we'll email the PDF of
Yeah.
the bullet journals, and you could print it out, and it's very colorful and pretty. Mimi's very good at creating that and making it beautiful and fun. So you can print it out and use it that way, or you could just have it on your screen or your phone and just use your own paper, and you'll have more room. So you could do it either way, just for people who don't have printers or don't want to print it out. Um, you know,
Yeah, I
you,
just wanted to kind of offer a little clarity. So what we've done in this journal, it's 7 days, and each day is a prompt or sort of a starting point to get you thinking in some way about your purpose, maybe in a way that you had it. And so when you were talking about Queen Elizabeth, it made me think about one day that we have where we have prompts that help you get to whether you're doing your purpose or not, because there are so many things. I'm just looking at this chart. I don't know a lot about astrology, but it looks like there's a lot of things here that could have knocked her off kilter.
yes,
To be
yes,
in the royal
absolutely.
family, like we don't have to be in the royal family to know that a lot of our family members have different ideas about what we should be doing or shouldn't be doing, and to stay true and to be doing your purpose is what's powerful. And I think she probably had a lot stronger forces trying to nudge her in different directions. But to be able to figure
Absolutely.
out what your purpose is and make sure you're moving towards that, uh, that's sort of what the bullet journal is helping you to do. Just every day, it's just a little bit different way of thinking about it, but in a fun way. And because it's the bullet journal format, then that leaves lots of space for creativity. But if you are the type of person that just gets stuck looking at a blank page, we have a little guidance for you too.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that more clearly. So yeah, I think to me, you know, and Mimi said it really well. It's easy to look at our own lives and Elizabeth the First. You can just imagine a queen. You just have people pulling you in so many different directions. How do you stay on course? And I don't know, frankly, how she did it, but she followed. I think she was somebody who followed her core, who she was at her core. Somehow she was able to connect to her own instincts and intuition and inner knowing to keep this whole, like in a time where it could have been very unstable and continued a time of instability, she, by craving that path of purpose towards stability, she was able to hold herself together and her country. And so it's, again, we're just like, I'm not a queen, none of us are queens. Like, so it doesn't have to be on this huge scale. I just wanted to illustrate for people, like, even if you have this big role, like you're the CEO of a corporation, that's not your purpose in life. Your purpose is not to be CEO. Your purpose is not to be a mother. Your purpose is something a little more like a thumbprint. It's very unique to you. And this purpose shift bullet journal is a way to start playing around with that, literally playing. We want it to be fun, lighthearted, a lighthearted way of getting at a serious question.
And we offer it free because we are on a mission to encourage people. There's a reason you're living right now and born right now on the cusp of this decade that's ahead of us. So we just want to share it with all of Lee's astrology people here, or anybody that has found this video anywhere else, just as a free tool from us, because these are the types of exercises we love to do.
Yeah, now it's very important right now for people to be working on this if they can, trying to gain some clarity. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.